This is your place for all things Grand Rapids Griffins and all things Toledo Walleye. This is the Hockeytown West podcast with your hosts, Brandon Cook, Nick Harrington, and Travis Bosch.
Well, we're 39 games into the Grand Rapids Griffins season, and the record is still insane, even with the couple of games we're going to talk about here. 32, 4, 2, and 1, 67 points in 39 games, an 0.859 winning percentage, and a plus 68 goal differential, a league-leading penalty kill, 12th in the league power play. Things are still going very, very right for this team, even though some things around it are going very, very wrong. When we get guys back from injury, we're losing guys to injury. We're still dealing with the adversity, but this team finds a way to win. We have 3 exciting games to talk about with you all. Welcome back to the Hockeytown West podcast, your source for everything Grand Rapids Griffins and Toledo Walleye hockey. Before we jump into this, I'm going to check in with my one co-host today as Travis is enjoying the sun and fun down in Florida as him and his wife reach building number 19 in the NHL on their arena tour that they are doing. Well done, Travis, planning a nice warm trip. Well, basically the entire country is freezing its butt off, but I'm going to go over to Nick here. Nick, man, how are you doing? I feel like I haven't talked to you or seen you in so long with my travels.
It has been a while. This episode, I'm a little bit older, a little bit wiser than the last episode. My birthday was Wednesday. So, little nice night off, right? We did a little bit of breakfast, but a lot of travel again. So, luckily, had the last 2 days to kind of slowly recover. I feel like since the season started, we've just been go. So, and we're not going to get a break with the All-Star game coming up or the Olympics. So like that, I'm sure we're going to be clipping Latvia games too with Mr. Chalmax. So it's, we're in the heat of the season. Right.
It's so funny that we went into this season going like, we're going to find better ways to manage like our personal life, work, and doing this. And it's been go ever since. We both joked before we hit record that we're like, we just need a day, a day to rot. That's what we really need right now. But at the same time, we find a way and we press on. And I will caution you as we head to this episode, it might sound a little rougher than normal because I was on the road for work all last week. I missed basically 2 of these Griffins games. Nick also had one of the nights off as well. Travis covered one of them for us and he's not here. So we're going to grind our way talking through it all the best we can. At least I'm not in a hotel with just a crappy audio setup and video setup like I was for our last Toledo episode. So at least I'm back home in the studio ready to go. Before we dive into all the games though, if you're new here, obviously welcome to the Hockeytown West podcast. If you haven't yet, hit subscribe, or if you're watching on YouTube, hit follow wherever you get your podcasts at so you can stay up to date on everything Grand Rapids Griffins and Toledo Walleye hockey. As we go through the episode, if there's something we say you want to share your opinion with us on, leave a comment on the video on YouTube. You can leave comments on Spotify too. We'd welcome that as well. We like to engage with people in the comments there. Hit like on the video. That also helps out the show a ton. And we're going to dive in with any news and updates we have around the Griffins right now. And there's not been a ton of roster changes and moves, which is great. The biggest thing to talk about right now is Nolan Moyle. Obviously, we talked recently on the Toledo show how he was his PTO was extended one day and then eliminated the next day, and he was back in Toledo. Well, it turns out he is heading overseas to play hockey, which, kind of sucks. Like his time in Grand Rapids was shortened by an injury that he was dealing with. And then obviously didn't get a lot of time in the lineup with that, and then gets sent back down to Toledo and decides to go overseas. His production in Grand Rapids was great. His production in Toledo was phenomenal. It does suck to lose a guy like that, but it's probably a good opportunity for him to go play over there.
Just very confusing. Like you said, like signs the PTO, right? I'm assuming he has to sign that, and then it's, terminated the next day, never gets activated to end Toledo. And then
I can say he's still technically injured from seeing him in Toledo. He is still injured.
Oh, okay. And then to see him like now, literally the news broke earlier today, boom, overseas. But I know when we spoke with Travis this morning, or when this news had broke, he said it was not too surprising. I guess he had offers overseas in the summer, and he wanted to, see if he could make a difference, I guess, over here. I thought he played really well up here. I'm not happy that he left.
No.
Like, he was a great fourth line contributor, and that line did really well with him with Mantle and Hilly, and, like, I wish he would have stayed. I loved it that he was here. He brought a different energy for the team. So,
Was his
definitely,
speed on the fourth line. This that speed you don't really get unless Ammo is now playing the fourth line, right? You get the speed there, but his speed was a difference maker when Ammo was out of the lineup.
yeah. And it's just, I don't know, it's just that energy line, right? It's that Toledo tough grinding it out, and he's gonna be missed for sure.
I wonder if like the details of a contract coming overseas were like kind of in play and they were like, yeah, we signed the PTO. And the next day it was like, hey, this came about. And the Griffins were like, okay, we're going to do what's right for the player here and cut it. And then he goes back to Toledo, gets his affairs in order and heads out. Like, knowing the ins and outs of this organization, it kind of seems like that would be something they would do for a guy. So I'm going to assume that it was just a right by the player move, and that's where all the confusion comes from. Will we try to get clarification? Maybe at this point, he's leaving. I don't think we need to beat a dead horse here. But at the same time, who knows? It was a very confusing couple of days with that movement, and that's been the only big move that's happened with the roster for once we don't have 6 different transactions to talk about to the beginning of a show, which is really nice. We'll talk on the injury front though, because we noticed in Sunday's game, missing a few guys. It looked like Nate Danielson sustained a minor injury. In Friday's game, we don't have any details on that. Dominic Shine sustained an injury about 3 games ago. We saw him leave the game. I don't remember who we even played that night. That's how far back things were.
Milwaukee, I think.
That's right. Yeah.
Sounds
Milwaukee.
right.
It was a shutout. I remember that. We know he left the game super late in that one. And not having those 2 guys in the lineup right now kind of sucks, but it's hopefully not going to be long term, right?
Yeah. It's I mean, Shine, we don't lose when he's in the lineup. I think I should preface that with I think we've lost 2 games with him in the lineup. So big piece. Hopefully he gets better. I know he was dealing with a little bit of an injury that he came back from that Milwaukee game, and then we saw him leave in that game, and he hasn't. I don't think he's been back since that incident. Hopefully it's nothing major because his team needs him. He's the captain. He's played so well this year. Like, I know we've said it before. He's the MVP of this team. And this year, like, again, like, he's right there. I would say he's right up there with it for the votes. So hopefully a speedy recovery. And then Nate, yeah, it's not great to see him coming back and then getting an injury pretty quickly from returning back from the Red Wings. So not great for his development, but hopefully it's something minor and they're just putting him out for precaution.
Yeah, exactly. And luckily, those are the only injury updates we really have to provide. I mean, Moyle would have been in there, but obviously he's gone. And everybody else besides Carter Mazer is back skating and playing hockey games. They're still not skating yet, to our knowledge. Hopefully, within the next couple of weeks here, he's back on the ice. Hopefully, we can make it to a practice and verify that, oh, he's there. He is on the ice again. But we do know that time is at least coming soon. If I had to guess for anyone looking for a timeline, and this is nothing official, we have no clue, but I would say mid-March, late March, maybe is the timeline for Mazer. I think that seems to be fair with what we've heard. But again, nothing is official. It's hockey. You ask about injuries and the coach looks at you thinking you're a cop. Like, that's how it goes. So
I think he's day to day still.
yeah, probably, right? It's day to day, month to month, week to week, who knows? But at the same time, that's all the news and updates we have, which is kind of really nice when you look at everything and how we usually have to spend about the first 15 minutes of an episode talking about news and updates. We get to transition to talking about games now. And the first game is going to go all the way back to last Wednesday at Van Andel Arena, another winning Wednesday with the Milwaukee Admirals in town, back to back really against Milwaukee. You know, the last game was a shutout against them as the Griffins headed into the great skate weekend there. And you get Milwaukee again, and you get Postava in net again, which, he had that shutout on that Saturday game against Milwaukee. You go right back to Posty, which makes total sense when you look at how the performance was that night. And what's he do? Goes back-to-back shutouts against Milwaukee. Unreal. I mean, for him, 19 of 19, he had to stop at 9 more shots than the last game. But at the same time, he made big saves throughout this one and just continues to bounce back from his injury in a way that I can't think of many goalies bouncing back.
Yeah, it's been impressive, right? Like, we lose those 2 games to Milwaukee, and I said, how are we going to respond, right? Like, what is we need to see a response from this team. And what do? They let them 10 shots on Saturday, and then with a shutout, and then they shut them out again on Wednesday, back-to-back shutouts. I mean, that's how you do it. That's how you respond. And, a couple more shots than the previous, but that's crazy to keep a team to 10 shots. If they would have did that again, like absolute masterclass from Brian Lashoff on the defensive end, right? But it's just that's how you should respond. Go back out, shut out, right? Start keep stacking them, and he was getting close to the record for the Griffins too, with longest shutout streak for minutes. I
Yeah,
think he was 5 minutes short. Friday.
Sunday.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
he was
because
5 minutes short of Jared Koru's shutout record there, which is pretty dang impressive when you look at how recently he's come back from injury. And when you talk about the defensive masterclass, it's not even just that. You back-to-back games silenced the top power play in the American Hockey League. Milwaukee's power play operates at a 29.5% right now, and they had multiple opportunities in each game, 2 in this game, and the Griffins PK shut them down. That right there is almost as impressive as the shutout.
Yeah, I mean they've been hot all year. It's not something that's been something of recent. It's 30% or higher almost all year up until now. So and they've ran against this good Griffins team that's number one on the penalty kill. That's helped drop that percentage a little bit. But yeah, it's amazing. I mean that's one thing that I don't know, that they don't really have to tweak a whole lot, that penalty kill that for us.
Yeah, no, they really don't. Like it's a well-oiled machine. And when you look at like Milwaukee, they have 41 power play goals this season. Overall, this season they have 111 goals. Like almost half their goals are on the power play, and you shut that down and get back-to-back shutouts against a team that beats you in back-to-back games in overtime. Like that's the way you respond.
I wonder how many times they've played Rockford this year, Milwaukee, because Rockford is not, they take a lot of penalties. I was looking at stats today. So I'm wondering how many times have they been able to score against Rockford on the power play? Just when we look at like Central Division stats and things like that, these things come into my mind. So it's, and maybe, they ran against, what's Rockford's power play or penalty kill? Probably
Rockford's PK right now in the league is, I gotta look way down here. Hold on. Oh, they're 14th.
Oh, so it's decent.
It's decent. It's middle of the pack, 81.9%. When you put that in like the spectrum of the division, fourth in division.
I wonder if there's a stat to see who they scored the most power play goals against.
I'm sure we can find it. Probably not mid-recording, but I'm sure that's something we can get for the next time we play Milwaukee, because there's still plenty of those games coming up this season. Yeah. But being able to do that, unreal. Posty getting another shutout, unreal. But the other storyline of this game you have to talk about is John Leonard. The Griffins win this game 3-0, and all 3 goals came from Lenny. And Nick's throwing his hat here for Lenny. Like it's unreal. And you look at the way that he scored some of these goals too, and it's just like, this guy, man, he just continues to impress, continues to be just absolutely unreal. When you're the other team and you see him jump on the ice, you immediately have to think like this could be a goal against. Like anytime he's out there, he can score. And this game right there proved that, getting his 23rd, 24th, and 25th goals of the season.
And he wasn't done for the weekend either. He's now tied. He's back tied for first place in the American League with 26 goals. He's only played 30 games. The guy ahead of him, Arthur Kaliyev from Belleville, has played 42. From where? Kaliyev. Above him, he's played 42 games, and Lenny's only at 30. So, I mean, the joke has been, I don't know if you saw this, Brandon, but the joke in the locker room right now is if we're down 1, they're looking at Lenny. When you going to pull one up? When are you going to score here? We need one, Johnny. He delivers. I mean,
that's so funny you say that, though, like, because the Griffins posted a clip today when the players went to one of the Grand Rapids Rise volleyball games, and Tyler Engel's looking at the stat sheets and saw like a play happen. He goes, "That's our Lenny." Right there. Like the guys all know it. Like that's just what he is to this team. But to have 26 goals, be tied for the league lead in 30 games compared to the guy ahead of him, or tied with him at 42 games, that's pretty dang impressive when you look overall. And, Dan Watson even commented on it recently. I don't remember where he said it, but when you look at the teams in the last couple of years, they've lacked a pure goal scorer, and that's what John Leonard is. And it's so nice to see. I think we've even said it a few times this season that's what we lacked this year. That's what that team missed last year, was just that pure goal scorer that can go out there and put up goals when you need them the most, or just when you don't even need them. Hell, they were up 2-0 and he had a third one, right? Like It's so nice to see, and what a signing by the Red Wings.
Fantastic signing. I mean, it's just this. It's not that this guy came out of nowhere, but he was just put in the right environment, in the right place, right, to really thrive. I mean, it takes me back to when we covered Bergie when he was here. It was just, but Bergie was more flash, right? He was more of a flashy guy. You know, your eyes are always on him because he's going to do something crazy. And Lenny does it kind of quietly. Like he's got the first goal, he went to the net. Just drove it in and put it in. Second one was a snipe. The third one, he does a little like twirl and then puts it in the empty net. He like takes it all the way through. So he's finding different ways to end up scoring. And he just finds those soft spots to be able to put it in. Like, I don't know. It's just when he's on the ice, I'm not like, oh, here he goes. Right. But
I mean, now we are.
now you kind of have to, right? Like,
it's crazy when you put it in perspective too, that his career high in goals was last season in Charlotte. It was 36. He's 10 away from his career high in goals. Right now, he's on pace for 55 goals in 63 games. That's what he's projected. He's projected an 84-point season. His highest points in the pros ever in one season was 61.
Dang. Yeah. He's absolutely crazy. Some people just develop a little bit later, right? Or they're just, you find them and they succeed. So
yeah, sometimes a late bloomer is not a bad thing, right?
No, not at all.
He's 27 years old. He still obviously has plenty of playing time left to go when you look at everything with him. And I'm just so happy that we have him. And it's just been such a key piece to this team when you look at, especially on the offensive side. But it's not that he doesn't play bad defensively. He's a smart defensive hockey player as well. And that top line, when it's usually Shine, Dries, and Leonard, it's just, other teams have this hate to see him step on the ice at this point because all three of those guys can burn you. And yeah, another just unreal. A nice hattie for him. It was his third career hat trick in the AHL, first as a Griffin. And you look at the other point of that night too, is Danielson had 2 assists. He had the primary on the first goal, the secondary on the second goal, which was a power play goal at home. That's back-to-back games with the power play goal at home. I know we literally just said the power play is 12th in the league, but power play at home, definitely not 12th in the league. It's way down there. When we looked before the game on Saturday, it was at 10%, and they've scored 2 since then. So that's a nice positive stat when you're talking power play. We're not going to have a 15, 20-minute segment of the show this week talking about the power play. Thank you, guys. But Danny getting 2 assists there is nice. Fullender and Becker had the other ones. Griffins outshoot them 26-19 in this one and shut down that penalty kill like we mentioned multiple times already. Just a really good, strong win against Milwaukee. And you have to think that team is extremely frustrated by that now. You beat the Griffins twice. They come back and shut you out twice. And then you had to get on a bus and drive through a snowstorm to Chicago, which looked miserable. Then you had to go play an outdoor game in negative 20-degree weather. Like they've had a rough go.
Did they win the Chicago game? Do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head. But either way, I saw Aaron Sims share the video from the front of the bus, and I was like, that's terrifying.
Yeah, whiteout conditions, driving a big old bus, not
30
fun.
miles an hour the whole way to Chicago from GR sounds just after you get shut out back-to-back games.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Tough.
Moving on from that game, you go into Friday night. The Griffins hit the road and go to somewhere even colder than Grand Rapids has been recently. You head up to Manitoba. You go up to Winnipeg, which is kind of a cool weekend when you look at it, as the Griffins played there Friday night, the Red Wings played there Saturday night, and then the Griffins played again Sunday. And we had heard that the teams kind of attended each other's games in this sense, which doesn't happen often in the season. So that's kind of a cool thing when you peel everything back, that the schedule lined up where the coaches could get together, the players could probably get together and catch up with each other. I'm sure it was a good weekend for them.
Yeah, I wish they'd do this more often, to be honest. I wish it could line up, not in Winnipeg, but just like anywhere else for these guys. Because it's...
I don't know, doing it in Winnipeg keeps them off the golf course together,
That's true. And probably not a crazy nightlife out in Winnipeg, but I think it was cool. I don't know if they were able to practice together. I don't know if there's any rules against that.
I would doubt that they could do that. I would say there's probably a rule against that, but being able to at least meet and catch up, like you think of the guys that played here in Grand Rapids last season, getting to catch up with guys that are still here, and the coaches being able to kind of put their brains together. and just talk about what's going on and get updates on players. I'm sure it was valuable for the organization.
I thought it was funny why he was like, "Well, we're going to travel very differently, though, to Winnipeg."
Yeah, it's not the Redbird 1 or 2 that Detroit gets to, enjoy. It's very different travels to a very, very cold place. I swear Bob said it was like -27 one of the days or something like that, which is not surprising at all. It's Winnipeg. It's
Yeah.
always just bitter cold in the winter. Not an ideal place to travel to, but hey, we go in there and the Griffins come out with a 2-1 win in a very tight game. Nick, I know you watched some of this one. I was in T-Town during this one. My takes on the games are basically just highlights and stats. When you look at this overall, Sebastian Cossa stops 20 of 21. At the other end, Thomas Milic stops 26 of 28. Milic has been a thorn in the Griffin side. He's a very good goaltending prospect that the Winnipeg Jets have. But to come out with this tight 2-1 win, how did it happen? What did it really lean on? Was it good defensive play? Was it a lucky goal at the right time? What did you see?
Well, every game we played against Manitoba has been a goal game the entire season. Even in the beginning of the season, Waddy said that this team is, better than they are, right? And so it was a tight game. Like, we get Sheldon Drives with a goal, which was a tip from Shai Booyah from the point. So love that.
On power play.
On the power play. Well, we're on the road. We're really good because we just keep it simple, as well. What he was saying, we just got to keep it simple on the power play. At home, we'll be all right on the road. The Mason Shaw goal, it was just a bounce right in the center. Nothing that Costa could do on that one. And then third period, I mean, we had our chances. I would say, like, it just. I felt like we were going to take it. We were going to get it at some point. And I just was waiting for that goal, right? Seager, I mean, it was just kind of crazy too, with Seager just takes the puck, runs up the board, slides it in, and I'm looking at him like, shorthanded. Like, all right, we'll take it. So, we get that win. It was very tight. Play between the two teams. It's just like they had their chances, but nobody was really capitalizing on it. It was like, did somebody want to win this game? Who was going to take over?
Right. And like, you look at the last time we played Manitoba, like you said, with Waddy saying this is a better team than they look on paper, and look in the standings right now. When they figured out they're going to be a really good team, they were like 6th in the division at that time when we played them last. They're 3rd now.
Yeah.
They're 5-4-1 in their last 10, and that includes the 2 games this weekend against us. And they've really turned it around. It's been actually pretty impressive, one, to see Waddy kind of predict that was how it was going to be. It was great analyzing by him, but at the same time, they play a very tough style of hockey. It's a very overbearing, on top of you. They don't give you a lot of time and space, to where it took a goal like Seager's to make this happen. And obviously Drives' goal too was a tip. Like, there was no pure shot getting through this team. Like, you wouldn't expect just one of Leonard's shots to find its way through to the net. It wasn't going to go like that in this game. You needed those weird type of goals, but to win this game, they had to win the special teams battle, clearly, and they did. And when you get a shorty and get a power play goal in a game, that's a heck of a good night for your special teams. And again, Siegs, didn't expect that goal from him whatsoever, but looking back at it, I'm like, that's a dang good goal. I'm really happy with that one. Way to go, Seager. Like, I mean, that was his
4th,
3rd goal of the season?
3rd.
Like, he doesn't do it a lot, but when he does it, it's been clutch lately.
And that's what they wanted from him. I was listening to Waddy on Sunday's game, and Sunday's game. He was saying that when they told him, just drive to the net, just do what you were doing before. This is how I think he scored 10 goals last year. And so all 10 of those goals was him just driving to the net. And it's like, okay, Seager, just do it. He goes out there and he gets rewarded. So hopefully we see a little bit more of this, especially in this part of the season. Like, you're not going to get those nice. We've been so open in the slot, right? A lot of our shots or goals have been coming from there. You need to kind of have those tip point shots. You got to have those drive to the net, banging the rebounds. You've got to have those. So you get some of those guys going on that route. It's going to be looking good, right? I will say, like, the Moose too. They did. I feel like when you watch football, they always set up a play for the next play, right? Or they set up a play for later on the season. This game, they took a lot out of this game on how to attack us. There were a couple times in this game that I felt like we were getting hemmed in the zone a little bit. Costa stood on his head in the last what was that, like last minute? There was a crazy big save that he had that almost tied. It was almost tied. If not for him to be able to come up big at this point, we probably would have been going right into overtime. But this game too, this was the one where they kept the 18 game record for the most road win games in AHL history.
Yeah, because they hadn't lost in regulation on the road still. Like, think about that. We're, at that point, 38 games into the season, the team had not lost in regulation on the road. That's a stupid stat right there. That's insane to me. And I want to go back to, because you brought him up, and Sebastian Cossa making good saves there at the end, big saves that we need. And you look at this, like 20 of 21 in this game, only allows 1 goal, continues just to be on this insane pace that he's on this season. And look, if you're going into every single game knowing that your goalie is going to maybe give up 1 or 2 goals, your chances of walking out with a win go so much higher if that's just your mentality going into it. And besides maybe 1 or 2 outlier games, Cossa's provided that every single game. I mean, he's still rocking a 1.77 goals against and a .933 save percentage. He's second in the league right now behind Michael DiPietro. Like, he's been just unreal. And the only reason he's second in the league, and that is because probably that last outlier game that we talked about the week prior. So it's just, he's been so consistent, so unreal, exactly everything that we needed him to be this season so far. Because like this time last season, we were talking about a different looking Sebastian Cossa. We were wondering, like, okay, you're going to see that January drop off? Because we already started seeing it in December last year, and we have not seen it yet. And it's a beautiful thing.
Dialed in, locked in, ready to go. Like, it's a very, you could tell he's ready. He's ready for the next step. It's just timing, right? At this point, you've got Gibson, who's figured out how to play goalie from 10 years ago. And then you got Talbot.
Dude, Gibson's been unreal. It's what he's been doing is like unreal, but we've heard it, right? Like, we didn't pay close enough attention to it at the beginning because we were so focused on GR and Cossa. But like, it does take time for goalies to settle into a new environment. Boy, once he's settled in, he has been everything we hoped he would be in that trade. Because in the early stages, we're like, what the hell is this? Get this guy out of here. Steve, what did you do? And now everyone's like, hell yeah, Gibby starting tonight. This is going to be a good game. So I'm really happy to see it's worked out like that. And like, Talbot hasn't been bad. He hasn't been excellent. Could Cossa maybe provide the exact same performance or better? Potentially. But at the same time, right now, they're just not going to change anything because it's all working for every team. Like, why would you change it, right? Let Cossa just continue to do his thing. Let him go chase down a Calder Cup here. And then when Talbot's deal's over, you're going to, obviously, we know what comes after that. And there was some interesting news out of MSU that looks like Trey's pro time is going to come here pretty soon, too. I don't think Nick saw this, as I can see the confused look on his face, but it looks like MSU got to commit to first-round draft pick goaltender as well. So it's going to be interesting to see when Trey turns pro here. Is that ELC with Detroit going to get signed, and we're going to go from having Sebastian Cossa, watching him develop in front of our eyes, to watching Trey Augustine too? What a time to be a Griffins fan in a show that happens to cover the Grand Rapids Griffins. It's unreal to think about what we're going to get to do, hopefully, in these next few years and what we've already been witnessing over these past few years.
History.
It really
Absolute
is.
History.
This season is, only way to describe it is historic. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit a quick ad break. When we come back, we got one more game to talk about, give you our 3 stars of the week, an AHL standings update, and whatever else we feel like we need to share with you. Probably not much because we weren't prepared today. So quick ad. We'll be right back.
Spinoramas, Michigan goals, a sprawling save across the crease. Live and breathe all the highlight moments with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-9777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see DKNG. NHL.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright NHL 2025. All rights reserved.
And welcome back. All right, one more game to talk about here. A Sunday afternoon game in Manitoba still to wrap up the weekend. And this one was one of those games that you look around the league and it might have shocked some people. The Griffins lost in regulation on the road for the first time this season. It finally happened, which, again, is inevitable. Is the 18th opportunity for them to lose, as Nick said earlier, 18, but that was their 17th win, or 17th game without losing in regulation, we should say, on the road. So this was the 18th opportunity, and they ended up losing in this one. And this was weird. It was very back and forth. Manitoba kicked off the scoring action in the first, which luckily Sheldon Dries, with like 29 seconds left in the period, was able to get the Griffins tied up on this. Goals back-to-back games for Driesy there as well. John Leonard and William Volinder getting assists on that. Going to the second period, nothing happens besides Manitoba out shooting Grand Rapids 10-5 in that period. I was like, this is weird. Manitoba's got some momentum on their side that I don't like in this one. You go into the third period, and John Leonard gives us the lead 55 seconds into the period. You're like, okay, momentum swings back to our side. I like this. And then somehow Manitoba was still able to get their momentum back in this and score at the 9-minute mark in the period. And then they were able to add one more at the 19-minute, 33-second mark of the period. It was not an empty net goal. We couldn't get the goalie out of the net, which sucked in this one. But I do want to actually talk about that goal specifically in this one, because when we posted the clip, it generated a lot of discussion. Where, what is goaltender interference? Because there is no way in hell Michael Postava could make that save. Like, he was literally, as you slow the clip down, he's pushed down and Brad Lambert chips it right over him. Like, that goal wasn't reviewed. There was a quick huddle about it, and then they dropped the puck and went on, as we've seen multiple times throughout the season. John Leonard's goal was reviewed for some reason. And Bob kept thinking it was because, like, he took a high stick after the goal, which we'll talk about here in a second. But I believe it was actually reviewed to see if he kicked the puck in the net, because the puck went in off his skates as he was sliding towards the net. So we do a full review for that, but your goalie getting basically pushed down to the ice and the puck going in behind him, no review. And that was the game deciding goal
with 26 seconds left.
Yeah, like, I don't understand the AHL at this point when it comes to this, because goaltender interference seems to not be getting reviewed. It seems to be a huddle between the four officials, and they just all nod their head in agreement and go, instead of actually going and looking at the footage and making a decision based on the footage. Like, you can call the goal. I'll always say the right call is call the goal, but then review it. Why are we skipping the review step?
Seems like these refs didn't want to work overtime. Don't they know that there's no taxes on overtime this year? It
was in Canada, buddy. I don't know.
It's the American Hockey League. So I think we go back based off of these rules, to be honest. I originally, when I watched this goal, I didn't like how Posty reacted to it, but that's his flair, right? Like, he's way out of this net. He's way out of the crease. And maybe that's why they didn't. I've been like watching this on replay here as you're talking about it, just to kind of refresh my brain on it. And he's so far out. He takes a fall. The camera angle is not great on it either, of being able to. It kind of gets that Moose player kind of gets lost in the shuffle with the Grand Rapids guy. So I don't know if it's more of a, we pushed him into the goalie, and maybe that's what they saw, and that's why they did call it, a no goal. Definitely.
Which I'm fine with that being the case if they review it. This quick little huddle BS that keeps happening, and they just make the decision based on their memory. Like, the game is so fast. Things happen so quickly. I have to go back half the time when we post a clip and make sure I have the right things, like, typed out. And I'll have to review the play to make sure I'm saying the right thing. And half the time I'm still wrong. Like, I don't understand how, when the ability is there to go look, I just don't understand why you wouldn't. So then that erases the question. Like, this wouldn't even be a discussion of this episode. They reviewed it. They called it that way. They probably gave the coaches their reasoning. We move on. And now I'm having a 5-minute discussion about why can't the refs take 45 seconds to go look at a camera feed? The ability is there, clearly.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic on camera angles in the stadiums right now. But definitely something like this would have been a prime thing for us to ask Waddy, right? But it's on the road. It's in Manitoba. We're not rich enough to fly out there, and so it's it's a.
I have no desire to fly out there in the winter.
Yeah. But I don't know if he got an answer. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know. But I think it goes back though, is this game, Manitoba got stronger in the second period and then also in the third, and they just wanted it more. And I feel like they took a lot of, I guess I should say, I observed a lot of the stuff from the previous game that they played against Manitoba, and they took that structure and they played 2 out of the 3 periods. They were the better team, right?
Yeah, in the third, they were definitely the better team.
For sure. I mean, what did the shot totals were way out.
18 for Manitoba, 7 for Grand Rapids.
10 and 5 in the second period. So it was just like, as the game got going, Manitoba really felt like, hey, we have a chance for this one. And it's disappointing. Like, I wish, obviously I wanted to see the record like continue. I don't want to just one up the last one. But, we've played Manitoba how many times now? 5, 6?
Something like that.
It's so hard to beat the same team 4 times. Like, they always say that in the playoffs. This is, they're going to be due for one, right? A lucky bounce, a lucky this or that. They played better. They won this game. Unfortunately, that's what we have to say on this one, I think.
Yeah, and it's that reminder that, with the Griffins and how they're playing, that every team is going to bring their best foot forward every single time they play them. You're getting playoff intensity from these other teams every time we play them, which you can take as a positive because it prepares you for the playoffs. It prepares you for that environment. And do we know if those teams have a gear beyond that for playoffs? No, we don't know yet. But if they are bringing that gear and they don't have a gear beyond that, man, we are set up really well for the playoffs. So you don't like the result. I don't like it because the way it happened, I would have rathered some clarity on that situation. But again, like, you could boil it down to the Griffins just didn't play great hockey for the second and third period, and that's why we lost. I can't fully place the blame on why didn't we review this one goal because it happened. Like, the Griffins could have easily prevented that being the situation by just scoring 1 or 2 more goals. And we don't have to have that discussion at all. So yeah, not the best game. I think Postava, even with all the chaos, did play a really good game. He stopped 34 of 37 in this one. He was peppered in that second half of the game. Even Sentis at the other end had another great game. He's been a great goalie as well. He's been a thorn in our side. Both the Manitoba goalies are really good. He made some incredible saves. And I don't know the story behind the jerseys the Manitoba Moose were wearing. Someone will have to clarify for me, but those were kind of sick. I'm not going to lie. That like orange, I think it was something celebrating the native culture there. But at the same time, I'm not 100% sure, but they were kind of cool. I was digging that.
I think they were. They did the numbers. You could actually see the numbers and you could see the names, which was super important for us. But I think it was like I'm trying to look it up.
Yeah, I don't know. Move on from that, I guess, until we figure out some clarification there. But at the same time, you look at the Griffins week, right? You win 2 out of the 3. Unfortunately, you don't get to take a point away in the last one and you don't continue that record. But 2 out of the 3 is not bad, especially when you look at where we were at during a period of time where we talked about a 3-game skid. And they bounced back from that very nicely. And they've continued to bounce back from that again very nicely. So moving on from that, I have no other thoughts on this week. We'll jump into our 3 stars of the week. And for the 3rd star of the week, I've got Nate Danielson with 2 assists this week. I think in that game Wednesday before he got hurt Friday, he had a fantastic game, continues to develop in the right way, continues to find some points, which is exactly what they want him to do. Come down here, find his offense, play his game, right? And he did exactly that in that game against Milwaukee. So I gave him the 3rd star of the week. And the 2nd star this week, I actually gave to William Volinder. He also had 2 assists this week, which is shocking for us to give it to him, but we've joked about it so often that I have to give it to him. I was going to give it to Dryzy with 2 goals, but I have to give Volinder some flowers here because he's just really strung together some good sets of games since about the Christmas break. He's kind of been a different defenseman, a lot less frustrating for us to watch. So heck yeah, go Wally, give you your flowers and make us eat our words from the beginning of the season. It's good to see this development path that he's on.
Maybe we should have called him out sooner. I feel like it's something we've talked about off here quite a bit.
We joke about this every year. We should call out a guy sooner because as soon as we say something negative about a player, they make us eat our words for the next month and a half. So hopefully us giving him the flowers doesn't revert back to pre-Christmas break Wally. Then we'll call him out again. But at the same time, a nice solid week from him. And as I mentioned, Sheldon Dries with 2 goals this week. I should give him a star in this. John Leonard, though, 4 goals this week plus an assist. How do you not give him 1st star for the upteenth time of this freaking season? Like, the guy just continues to be unreal for this team. And he gets the 1st star of the week. Obviously, like I said, sorry, Drizzy. Just another great week for him. Those 2 goals in back-to-back games. I've said it a million times this season that he is the most underappreciated player on this team. When you look at everything, I know he's a first-line player. I know he gets those big minutes, but I don't think when you look organizationally that fans appreciate what Sheldon Dries does as much as they should. He's just an unreal talent for this team, unreal guy, one of the nicest guys we get to talk to in post game, and just a great leader on this team.
Yeah, it's I had a very different top 3 this week, so I was surprised with the names that you threw out there. I had
Who was your
Dries,
top 3?
I had Drizzy in there for sure because of the goals that he had this weekend, and they were big goals. But I would put Posty in there. He had Johnny Leonard too. I had John Leonard in there. How can you ignore that? 3 goals in one game. You get and then you get a fourth for the week too. But Posty with
Plus
the
an
shutout.
assist.
Yeah, plus an assist. You got an assist too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He had an assist in Sunday's game.
yeah. I'm looking at Ignite the Nest standings. So I had to do all that calculation last night.
Yeah, hopefully you did it right.
Don't get me started. I'm still going back to the beginning of the season now. Tried to do that yesterday, but I had John Leonard. I had Postava though. I mean, shutout, and then he always 5 minutes away from breaking the record. And I thought too that game, I was like, is he gonna do it again for this 3rd game in a row? Like he was getting so close, and then it got ended. But so that's probably my fault. But
yeah, I mean, I could agree with that. I didn't love his performance in that game. I think, again, a couple of the goals could have been avoided, but at the same time, heck yeah. I mean, if you add that last Saturday game in there into the week too, obviously, like he jumps into the 3-star topic. He probably jumps to the 1st star with back-to-back shutouts. Let's be real. I gave Nate the flowers though, because I think there's just so much criticism on Nate as a player and what he does. And I'm one of those, like, I expect greatness from this player. He's a 1st-round pick and you expect him to deliver, but you have to acknowledge that when a guy is getting back to his game and finding the way again. And the 2 assists in that game, I mean, yes, it was a John Leonard hat-trick game, but 2 assists there in that game, those goals don't happen without Nate too, right? So you got to give the credit where credit's due. And it's just good to see him finding his game, getting comfortable again, and doing what we expect him to do. He probably would have had more points this week if he wouldn't have gotten hurt Friday.
Yeah. I love how you expect greatness out of Nate the Great.
You have to, right? You have to. You understand the pressure that these guys are under, and you understand the full thing. And that's one of the things that we pride ourselves with is we think very players first. And we think about what they're going through, what they're battling, and all that stuff. And you want to acknowledge the good when you see it. And again, like throwing Volinder in there over Dries, like I want to give him that opportunity, give those flowers to him, make sure that it's acknowledged that he's playing good hockey right now and he's doing what we would all expect him to do after a rough start to the season. Especially when you look around him and like the defensive core has changed. The lines are different almost every night. And you add Bouillon back into the picture, things continue to change there. It's just being able to adapt to that and finding a way to turn a rough season into a better season with all of that happening around you. You have to acknowledge it, at least give the flowers once, right?
Yeah, that's true. It's true. And I know, like, the joke around Bouillon too was they weren't going to win. They hadn't won a game with him in the lineup.
Yeah, poor kid had to be going through it, right? Like, you look at all these guys that come back from injury and then a skid happened and you're like, oh, these kids have to feel terrible. Like, that's not ideal, right? They want to blame themselves, but the group around them won't let them do that. No way. So moving on from that, a quick standings update around the American League. In the Central Division, we'll start there. Obviously, the Griffins lead that one with a 17-point lead over the Chicago Wolves, who are in 2nd. Manitoba in 3rd. Texas has jumped up to 4th. Hello. They're back. Oh, boy. Milwaukee in 5th right now, holding down that last playoff spot, and Rockford in 6th with Iowa still in last in the division there. 6-4 in their last 10 down there in Iowa.
They only have 10 wins for the season. That's crazy to think. They're the lowest winning team in the league.
It's insane when you think about that. Like Milwaukee and Texas only have 8 more wins than that. Like you look at last season, you look at this season, and you go, oh boy, what a difference when some of the bottom teams are in the top right now. And obviously it's not playoff time just yet, but boy, you start thinking about it, and you got to think some of these teams are playing with a different level of desperation than others. Yes, 5 teams in this division make the playoffs, which is absurd in itself, right? But at the same time, it's desperation time for a couple of those teams, and I would say Rockford is definitely one of them.
Yeah, and then like if the playoffs started today, it'd be what, Texas versus Manitoba for the play-in? Is that right? 4th versus 5th?
It would be Grand Rapids has the bye, Chicago, Milwaukee, Manitoba, Texas.
Yeah, that's so we could see Manitoba in the playoffs potentially. So I mean, and these have been tight games. So be a good matchup. Be a little different than what we've been used to the last few years of
and the
in
math,
Chicago.
The math isn't on Rockford's side either. They've played the most games in the division. Like, yes, there's a 3-point separation between them and Milwaukee, but Milwaukee's got several games in hand. Like, it's desperation time for the Rockford Ice Hogs, which is crazy when we look at the battles that Grand Rapids had with them last season, the battle in the playoffs, and how high caliber this roster should have been going into this. And you're like, whoa, that's a different look. And I don't know, man. I would not be shocked at this point to see them miss. And seeing Milwaukee go in having to play the best of 3 is shocking. Like, you're talking about a team that's made it to the West Final through the last 2 years. It's shocking. Moving on.
We're only halfway through the season too. So I mean, a lot still can change.
A lot can change, but it's not desperation time for Milwaukee, but it's desperation time for Rockford. 100%. Yeah. They don't want to be in that position. There's no way. And I mean, it's beyond desperation time for Iowa. Beyond that. Moving to the Pacific Division, you got Ontario still at the top of that division, Colorado and Bakersfield making up the top 3 there with Coachella, and then the outside looking in on the top 3, which is still weird to me. Granted, a lot of teams make the playoffs in this division. It's got 10 teams in it. AHL is wild. Bottom of that division, still Abbotsford, 6-4 in their last 10. Calgary right above them, though, 1-5-3-1 in their last 10. Ouch. Abbotsford is actually catching up to them now, only 4 points back, but Calgary does have 2 games in hand on them. Go to the North Division, Laval still leading that division, still having a fantastic season down there at 24-13, 2-2. Syracuse and Toronto make up the top 3 there. Utica still in last place in that with only 12 wins on the season. Oh my. Cleveland in 6th in that one, for those wondering, or that one person that listens that's wondering. Go to the Atlantic Division. Providence and Wilkes-Barre, a little bit of separation there now, with Providence at 61 points and Wilkes-Barre at 58. So Providence has kind of pulled away in that with the 8-2 record in their last 10. Wilkes-Barre still a great team. Charlotte in 3rd place there, 6-3-1 in their past 10, and they're on a 7-game point streak right now, a 6-0-1 streak. For the Charlotte Checkers, which is kind of unreal when you look at how their season started too. But when we saw them playing Grand Rapids, we kind of knew that they were a dang good team. Last place in that division is going to be Springfield still with 14 wins. Man, the last place teams in these divisions, those are some low win counts, man. Like, I'm not just saying that because the Griffins have 32 wins, but 10, 12, 14, and 15, and makes up your bottom spots in the division. That's rough.
It's crazy. It's crazy to think. Like, we're halfway through the season, so Iowa, with the pace they're going, it's going to get 20 wins. We have 32 right now.
I mean, it goes to show you that what we're witnessing in Grand Rapids is historic. It's unprecedented. We have not seen anything like this before, at least in Grand Rapids. And I mean, it's very rare in the league, right? You look at just winning percentages overall. Like I said earlier, the Griffins have a .859 winning percentage. The next closest is a .782, and everyone else is .6 or lower. That's insane. But that wraps up the standings and all that fun talk. When you look at the league overall, you know who's leading the league. Providence in 2nd, Wilkes-Barre in 3rd, Ontario in 4th, and Colorado in 5th. That makes up your top 5 in the league. But we do have one piece of AHL news that I want to talk about that came out this week. And it appears that the Bridgeport Islanders are moving. They are moving to Hamilton. Everything and all the signs are pointing to that being a reality. And I think it's weird.
Yeah. Are they going to be the Bulldogs?
I don't know, because that's still a major junior team. Like, that's the Bulldogs are there. This is weird to me because them moving out of Hamilton originally, it worked. Like, it worked in Hamilton. It was shocking that they moved. I'm not surprised to see them go back, but you'd think if Bridgeport's product was better, that it probably would have worked still in Bridgeport. I mean, Bridgeport's had an American League team for a long time. They weren't always the Islanders. You had the Bridgeport Sound Tigers, and I don't remember the team before that. It's weird to see that's the city that loses the team when really just the affiliation has just screwed that team. But that's kind of the result of the poor partnership there. And are they going to continue to be partnered with the Islanders moving back to Hamilton? Are we going to see an affiliation shakeup? I don't know. There's a lot of what ifs when it comes to this, but this is big news in terms of the AHL.
Yeah, I mean, are they going to have to redo the divisions too? Like,
It's potentially.
is there going to be a lot of change with this too? They were the Sound Tigers, and then they were the Islanders, but they don't have a season before that.
Okay, but they were the Sound Tigers for quite a while. Like, I remember that team for a long time.
20 years.
Yeah. So it's weird, man. I don't understand it fully, because the rumor at the beginning of the season was that the Marlies were going to get moved to Hamilton.
Weird.
That was a rumor for a while, because look what they're competing against. They're across the street from the Leafs. Like, if you're playing on the same night, the fans split it's not there. And the difficulty to getting to downtown Toronto for a lot of Toronto residents, unless you live in downtown Toronto, it's a challenge. So the thought was that they might move them out and go to Hamilton, which, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, not having a team in Toronto would feel like a huge miss, right? But I don't know. The situation's weird. It's the only way to describe it, is weird. It's still developing. We'll have updates as it comes along, but the divisions could look different, because you look at Bridgeport, they're in a division with 8 teams. You got the North Division with 7 teams, Central with 7 teams, and the Pacific with 10 freaking teams. Like, a divisional realignment has to happen at some point in time here, you would think. You've got to do something to make this make more sense. Like, in reality, we should be in a division still with Chicago, still with Milwaukee, still with Rockford probably, but I would say Cleveland, Toronto, Belleville. Those probably should all be, probably Hamilton. Probably should be within our division. So I could see them realign things, but who knows? The AHL is strange. The playoff format is strange. With the CBA getting ratified, and there was new playoff implications in there too, I'm sure things will change as we go. We haven't seen the full CBA yet, so we can't confirm all the details. We just know it's done deal. We don't have to worry about a strike in the American League, at least. So amen to that. That's a beautiful thing. But yeah, lots of weird logistical changes in the American League over the last week, and stuff that we'll pay attention to coming up and share any more info that we'll get going forward. I'm sure during the All-Star game with media time with the AHL president, I'm sure questions will be asked about this, and maybe we'll get more clarity by then. Who knows? But other than that, I don't have anything else special to add to this episode. When you look at the upcoming schedule for the Grand Rapids Griffins, you've got Cleveland coming to town for Winning Wednesday this week. And then you've got Friday, a date with the Chicago Wolves, and the Griffins turn around and get on a bus and go straight to Chicago for Saturday to play the Wolves in Chicago, which is kind of nice with an 8 o'clock start on a Saturday. It allows us to have a Saturday at least, so we get to enjoy that. But we'll be in attendance for both games this week. Excited to see the Monsters come back to town. It's always just nice to see a sprinkle of out of division once in a while. And once the Griffins hit the road on that Saturday, they are not back in Van Andel until February 13th. They have a 4-game road trip, one being in Chicago, then a Tuesday date in Milwaukee, and then they head down to Charlotte for a rematch with the Checkers, which I can only imagine is going to be some must-watch hockey.
Interesting. That's a long time away, but
I'm ready for it.
Time to start a new streak, right? Like,
time to start that road streak all over again. Well, with that, I think it's a perfect time to wrap this episode up. My cat is behind me trying to burrow into a blanket and meowing at me for not letting him under the blanket as I'm focused on this. So if you wonder why I keep turning around and fumbling with this blanket, it's because he wants attention. So we're going to wrap this thing up. Before we go, we got to thank our sponsors of the show, DraftKings and Everything Hockey Clothing Company. When you're betting with DraftKings, use code THPN. And when you're shopping at everythinghockey.com, use code WEST to a few bucks off your order, and it also directly supports the show. We appreciate their partnership, and everyone who goes to their site and uses their code and picks up some hoodies, because it's freaking freezing outside. Hoodies are perfect for right now, so make sure you head over there and check out what they've got. We also got to thank our Patreon subscribers as well. If you want to join these lovely folks, head over to patreon.com patreon.com/HockeytownWest podcast. You get unedited episodes, bonus content, or whatever other exclusive stuff we decide to throw your guys' way. I know we keep talking about doing some more giveaways and other stuff centered around Patreon. We are working on it. Our schedules have just been absolute madness over the past few weeks to start the year. The new year has not been chill like we thought it would. It's been chaos. But the lovely folks that have already joined us over there are...
We got Randy, Michael, Alsante, Derek Sleazer, Alan, and Lori Fausch, Griffin Not From GR, Elaine Grace, John in Florida, Tyler Ingalls, Darren Swartz, Peter Grell, Zach, Claire Boughton, Joe Schroeder, Bryson DeChambeau is elite.
Thank you all for the love and support. We appreciate you guys so much, and we promise more bonus stuff is coming your way soon once Travis gets out of sunny Florida. You jerk for going to Florida where it's like 70 degrees warmer than up here. We are jealous, but we hope you're having a good time and enjoy the game this week. Other than that, everybody have a fantastic week. Until we talk again, we do not know if we will have a Toledo episode this week. We will try to get one out to you guys, but again, the schedules are chaotic. Travel's chaotic right now. We will try our best to get one out, but if we don't, we will talk to you again next week with another Griffins update. But until then, as always, go Griffins, go Walleye.
Love you. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Hockeytown West podcast. Be sure to check us out on Twitter at HockeytownWPod and your hosts, Nick at GR Hockey Guy, Brandon at Brandon GR Hockey, and Travis at Trav in T-Town.